This has always been my belief. If a job becomes work, change. If you're not having fun, you don't need to be there. If you've got a dream in life, go for it. Don't sit back and wait on it. It's not going to come to you. You've got to get out here and make it happen.
Living in Vermont and growing up in Vermont was something that I really enjoyed, having the nice countryside there and being able to spend time on my grandparents' farm.
I was born here in Wilkes County on a place called Shoe Ridge, and I have more or less lived here most of my life. I moved away a time or two to seek my fortune, but I always come back without it.
Working with Buck has really been a great experience. He's definitely very passionate about his product and about his work that he does. He's also phenomenal with being able to fabricate anything that we need.
This was all built in my shop. I live about 7 miles from here, my shop, near my house. The boiler I built, they wouldn't let me use it because it didn't have a UL stamp on it or an engineered diagram or blueprint for it. So I had to turn around and buy this boiler. But the rest of this equipment down through here, every bit of it, I fabricated. I got a helper, a real good friend of mine, Jeff Davis. He's an awful good welder, and he helped me tremendously on some of the welding.
Some of the key differences between Copper Barrel Moonshine and a lot of the other products that are available on the market today. Obviously, the biggest component is, we make every drop from scratch right here on site. We use well water that we get from the crystalline rock aquifer. We have a well right here on site.
This is steam injection whiskey. This is the first legal ever moonshine still with steam injection. The steam goes directly to the mash to extract the alcohol. In 1945, really, Dad come home from World War II, in which he was in Germany. Somewhere along the way, he met somebody, and I wish that I had questioned him about this, and I didn't. But he come home with a drawing of how to build a boiler to inject steam into a still full of beer to extract alcohol.
Thinking back, the very first time I ever tried moonshine was after I moved to Charlotte, and that first experience was absolutely horrible. What I was drinking tasted just like gasoline or rubbing alcohol. It was horrible. So it was several decades actually before I dared to try moonshine again, and I finally had the opportunity to try the moonshine that Buck makes, and that's when I realized that this is going to be a home run.
Well, I want a true authentic moonshine to Wilkes County for the ones that truly love moonshine. I mean, this is the shine that they go after. This is the true shine that they can remember from, years back. And people in this area that drink moonshine, they know moonshine.
Back when I made the decision to open Copper Barrel Distillery in North Wilkesboro, I came to town and started to look at a variety of different properties and locations. I knew I wanted to find a spot that would be close to downtown because, again, I am really passionate about trying to revitalize small towns, and North Wilkesboro reminds me a lot of where I grew up, and I just want to see it become the thriving community that it once was. While I was in North Wilkesboro looking at different properties, the mayor actually asked me, who was going to be our master distiller and where we were going to buy our equipment from. And my answer to that at the time was, well, it'll probably be me because I'm the one that's focused on this full time, and I've been doing the most research on distillation. And he said, well, George, I think I got someone you need to meet. And that's when he scheduled this meeting with Buck.
The mayor called me. He wanted to know what I was doing. I said, I'm not doing anything, just sitting here, looking through the trash on the computer basically, and looking at car parts, how they make them and whatnot. And he said, I've got someone I want you to meet. I said, that ain't no problem. He said, you care if we come down there? I said, no, I don't care if you come down here.
So he actually picked me up and drove me out to Buck's place.
So it probably wasn't 15, 20 minutes till he and George showed up.
At first, I think Buck was a little apprehensive, reluctant to share too much detail with me, because here I was, a business guy coming up from Charlotte.
And George says, well, I want to make bourbon. I thought to myself, oh Lord, I ain't getting in on that end of it. And so we talked probably for 30 minutes, and I said, wait just a minute.
After we chatted for a little while, he asked me if I had a few more minutes I could spare, and I told him yeah.
So I got up and go out down through the woods and find a quart and bring it back.
I put a quart jar on the table and said, take a taste of this and let me know what you think.
We sat there and had 2 or 3 samples of it and whatnot. And he said, man, that's the smoothest shine I have ever drank.
I took another sip and I turned to Buck and I asked him, so you can reproduce this every time?
So I go out, get another quart of a different product, and bring it back. He sat there and tried it. He said, I don't mix this, I don't drink it straight. I said, okay, that's fine. So he said, man, I didn't think you could approve on that first one. I said, well, let me go get another.
He then ended up sharing a few other of his flavored moonshines with me, and by the time we had tried, I don't know, probably a half a dozen different flavors.
I looked at him, I said, what in the world's wrong with marketing what you're drinking? I said, you said it's the best whiskey you've ever drank.
My response was absolutely nothing. So that's when we actually had a handshake and said, let's start working together.
I've been pretty much all over the United States. I don't know the state I've not been in except Alaska and Hawaii. You mentioned being from Wilkes County, North Carolina. The first thing they're gonna ask you, said, you got any of that moonshine? Can you get us some of that moonshine? Wilkes County is known throughout the United States. And this is one thing, if you notice our bottles, if you've ever looked at them down on the bottom, it's embedded Wilkes County, North Carolina. That's one of the first things I told George it was gonna happen before we ever did. I said, I don't want it on a label. They can pull the label off. I want it made in the mold, or if you look at that bottle, it's from Wilkes County.
One of my main objectives for pursuing this dream of opening Copper Barrel Distillery is to really cement the history of Wilkes County as the moonshine capital, and bring attention to the fact that there were many families over the years that actually have pursued this business, albeit maybe illegally. But a lot of these people that were making moonshine over the years, they weren't doing it to be outlaws. They were doing it to put food on the tables. They did what they knew how to do. They knew there was still going to be a market for it. So to put food on the table, they would go out and design or buy stills and continue to make products using the skills and knowledge that they had. And I've made it one of my goals to really ensure that the legacy of Wilkes County and the rich heritage of moonshining lives on long after I'm gone.
The same type of system was used then that is used now in the steam injected. The difference then, most everything was in woods, out in the woods. When you went in, you made as much as you could, as fast as you could, because you knew it wasn't gonna last long. There's more good moonshine made right here in this county than anywhere else in the world you're gonna get. This moonshine, capital of the world, it was 1956. Revenue officer by the name of Sam Cave. He's dead and gone now, before my time. But he raided 10 stills in 1 week in Wilkes County in 1956. And at an interview, he was quoted as saying, this has got to be the moonshine capital of the world.
When I was first putting together my vision for Copper Barrel, launching the moonshine distillery is obviously a huge part of my long-term vision. But the main goal that both Buck and I share is that we want to build a brand and a portfolio of products that will really stand the test of time and be a legacy that we can leave behind for our family and the generations yet to come.